Here we go! You're listening to the Video Game Show on URN.
Hello, indeed, you are listening to the Video Game Show. I am your host, Henry. It's been a while. I'm back. I'm joined in the studio by Mark Northfield.
Hey mate, how's it going?
Very well, thank you. And the venerable Jack Newman.
Hello.
It's Reverend
here last
Morty.
week, were you?
No, I wasn't. I was hanging out of my bottom.
I can sympathise with that.
Yes, poor Mark is being a little bit rough.
If I'm quiet this week, it would be the massive alcohol abuse.
On the show, we're going to do some news. We're going to talk about E3, talk about games we've been playing. We're going to give you a good all-round go at it. Right, so we'll start with some news. First thing to go to, last week you talked about it, but I would quickly like to get into it. Far Cry 5 announced about a week and a bit ago.
Yes, it was last Friday.
Indeed. I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, we've spoken at length about it already on this show. And what do you think, Henry? I'd love to hear your thoughts on where you think it's going, what you think of the setting, like some of the buddy stuff they've shown off.
So
what do you reckon?
What stands out to me is that Montana is not the initial place you would think a Far Cry game would be set in. And because it's not necessarily an extreme environment, perhaps, that suggests to me that they're going very story-focused.
It is so exciting.
So they've got this big religious cult thing, which is very interesting. And it's also set in America, as someone rightly pointed out. This is one of the first games that's been set on American soil about Americans being the enemies, right?
Yeah,
Which is very interesting itself.
I think if they can do the right narrative, it's going to be nuts.
Definitely.
I came away from Far Cry 4 feeling very strongly that even though mechanically it was excellent, I couldn't play another one of those games unless they did something to change it. And so if they just take all of the gameplay of 4 and transpose it onto a story that is awesome, I'm on board 100%.
Yeah,
I love the Far Cry games. I think they're all wicked. They've all got their own positives and negatives. But this could be super cool if they do the right story.
And religious fanaticism is not something that's been explored that much in video games. Obviously, we had Outlast 2.
Yeah.
That does.
Yeah.
Which we talked about on the show. But apart from that,
And
it's not
obviously
really something
there are
that's...
countless first-person shooters from the last 10 years that have you going and fighting whoever out in the Middle East.
Yeah, exactly.
But it'll be interesting. Christian extremism.
I think that sounds really cool. And I'm very, I mean, like, you know, and also in the post they released, there are huge kind of suggestions of the Iron Cross instead of the American White Stars, all this kind of thing. There's a guy who says Sinner on his back. I don't know. I think it's a very bold storyline. I think it sounds very cool.
That picture they put out of the sort of the knockoff Murder Last Supper with all the guns and stuff looks super cool.
Very cool. So and also the trailer, it looks pretty cool. You can go fishing. You can fly a crop plane. You can do all that kind of thing.
What do you think of the buddy system they're putting in? This idea that you're like... Oh, well, it's not only is it co-op, but it's the idea that you can go and recruit sympathetic townsfolk. And did you ever play Far Cry 2?
No.
Okay, well, then this isn't going to help us. Yeah, the idea is that I believe in Far Cry 5, you can recruit sympathetic townsfolk and they can come and help you out of a pinch and you can have them come and do like gun battles and stuff. There's a priest in it. There's a black priest who's shown with like his dog collar and a shotgun. There's a female bartender.
Who I imagine will be the vendor. That's what I reckon.
There's a pilot as well of the 3 they've confirmed so far.
So I think...
who are going to be part of your unit.
I think in terms of story that makes sense, because Far Cry games, the idea is that you're starting a revolution. Whether that's, morally, that's always a bit of choose. But the idea of starting a revolution, and the fact that you have this buddy system, that makes sense with the story, because in Far Cry 3 or whatever, there are times when you're like, I am literally taking down an entire militia on my own, which doesn't make any sense.
Even though you're ostensibly working for like a whole other army that is supposed to be against this militia.
Well, exactly. So if in the game you start having residents of Montana getting involved, that makes sense to the story. And I think that'll increase you'll start to care about the characters, because in Far Cry, I tend to care about the villains, and that's about it. Whereas I think this will get me involved with the community.
It would be cool if they could add in... Again, it's this idea that it needs to be narratively more interesting. And if they can make it narratively interesting, 100% on board.
Yeah, so I think it looks pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited for it.
I think my big comment was, they need to make sure this new bad guy's in it more than Pagan Min was.
Yep.
Because Pagan Min was in that game for about half an hour.
Which is a shame because
15 minutes at the beginning, 15 minutes at the end. That was about it.
which is a shame because he was a great villain.
Yeah, he was awesome, but like, he wasn't given room to breathe because he just called you up like every couple of missions and sort of taunted you a bit, and then that was it. And that was sort of some interaction in the games. And if they can make this new bad guy not only like charismatic and interesting, like Vars and Pagan Min and these other people they've sort of marketed the games on, but they can make him present as well.
Yeah, I think that'd be really good. So I'm very excited, very looking forward to see how this turns out. I think with such a controversial storyline that I feel they have to deliver on that. If they deliver some wet flannel, I'll be really annoyed.
I feel like there's only so much they can do with it without really annoying a lot of people.
Yeah, people
obviously,
are being annoyed,
we've seen it happen before with Ghost Recon's Wildlands. They essentially based their game off of what, like Cuba or something like that.
They did upset the entire country of Bolivia, didn't they?
Sorry, Bolivia, that's it.
And all of that stuff happened. So I feel like they're treading a very, very thin line in terms of making it too outrageous. But I feel like Ubisoft might do actually quite a good job on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like if there's one thing you can count on Ubisoft for, it's making a game that is good but also totally inoffensive. Like, come on, every Assassin's Creed game starts with that thing that says, this game was made by a team of multicultural faiths and beliefs.
Yeah. I also hope that they stir up the formula. Like, I don't want to be climbing towers every half an hour. That will annoy me.
You'll be climbing towers every half.
And if I'm revealing parts of the map, this is going to annoy me. I want the formula to be shaken up.
Oh, but as a mechanic for revealing the map, climbing towers is really good. There's a reason that they brought it in Assassin's Creed and then put it in every other game for 10 years.
But I just want to make it a bit more compelling.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I'm getting a bit sick of that. So I'm hoping that this is a complete kind of
Well, it would be nice if they could get away from the very cookie-cutter, very list-driven style. Like Far Cry 4 especially, for all of the mechanical improvements it had, like so much of that game could be reduced to, like, you see a list of how many main missions there are, you see what you have to do,
Yeah.
you just turn up to a place and like someone calls you on a radio and says, go here and kill these people, and you go and do it, and you rinse and repeat till you get another cutscene with like Pagan Min at the end.
So I don't want that. I'm hoping that that's what they... But whatever, if it's really good...
Is it February the 21st when it comes out? February the something. Might be
Is it 2018?
Yeah. February the 2018.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah, it's February 2018, but I don't
okay, fair enough.
I think it's the 21st or the 28th, maybe.
Yeah.
I haven't got it written down.
Well, that said, if the storyline's amazing and it's just like a Far Cry game, then I'm happy. That'll do me. So
yeah, if it's just 4 but with a different skin,
with the actual good storyline, then I'll be up for that.
Yeah, if it's 4 with a different skin, it'll be a letdown. But if it's 4 with a wicked storyline, I'm on board all the way.
Definitely. Speaking of Ubisoft, yet another Assassin's Creed leak has come through. Yet another.
Yes.
It's like a Swiss cheese, this blooming game. So they've released a new logo. So it's got the classic Assassin's Creed triad thingy.
Yep.
But in the middle, it's got that Egyptian...
The Egyptian Eye of...
hieroglyphic eye or whatever it is. It's very cool.
Like the
really
Eye of
like
Ra
it.
or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
And there's also a picture of the protagonist they've released. Well, they've not released, it was leaked. But and it's just a bit faded. But you can see the guy, he's got a sword, shield, he's got pretty cool armour, he's not wearing a hat, he hasn't got a hood
Shield
on.
is crazy, by the way. Like,
cool,
what's
isn't it?
that going to do to Assassin's Creed, bringing a shield into it?
Well, yeah, exactly, that might change it hugely.
It may completely change that game.
But but it's called Origins as well. Well, that's another leak. So there's a suggestion that this is going to be a soft reboot of the franchise. And again,
Them taking some time off to do it.
very
like,
up
it
for
can
that.
only be
Very
good,
up for a
can't it?
soft reboot. And the best thing they can announce at E3 would be like, by the way, we get rid of the Animus.
Yeah.
I'd be very down
they
for
need to
that.
get rid of the Animus. It just needs to be a wicked anthology series where you just go to different times in
Totally
history
agree.
and kill people.
I feel like after the first couple of games that I played, I felt like it got sort of dry in terms of the story aspect of it. You know, you'd go around killing these leaders and then you'd go back to the Animus and it would tell you a bit of story about why you killed that leader, and then you go back into it and then do the exact same thing again, rinse and repeat about 8 times. And
It's
then you're
why they
done,
made
but-
3 games with Ezio, but only 1 with Altair, though. Because
Yeah.
it was like, well, all of the Animus stuff is crap and failing, but everyone loves Ezio. Let's just keep making games about him and try to ignore the Desmond stuff for as long as possible.
Well, the thing is, like, I don't need you to give me a compelling reason as to why I'm playing as this ancient person. The fact that you're in that setting is enough. I don't need to be like, oh, of course, this is a memory. No, let's just play as that guy. Let's just have Assassin's Creed Egypt.
Yeah.
Like, why not? I don't need all this extra
Like,
stuff.
Without a doubt, the best Assassin's Creed is when it just ignores all the anima stuff as much
Yeah.
as possible.
When you're actually... Because like Ezio, it's all about his life and
Yeah.
the Medici family. It's not about the fact that he's Desmond in the Animus. It's about Ezio, and that's what's interesting, not the Animus bit. So I hope they said that, but they won't. I guarantee it. Oh well.
It'll be interesting to see, though, won't it? Speaking of Ubisoft, didn't they get a new logo?
They did indeed. New logo. I like it.
It's not.
It's flatter, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not essentially a new logo as such as they've completely
Yeah.
changed the new design. It's a
Still
new
that
logo.
spiral, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
a new
still the
logo.
Ubisoft spiral.
But it's very minimalistic. They've got rid of like a lot of colour and they've just made it plain white and saying, look, this is just ours. It's the first time in 14 years that they've changed it. So
Well,
I don't know.
It's flat design is really big right now, isn't it? Because there's been a PlayStation 4 firmware update this week, up to 4.7, I think, and like basically the only changes it's done is it's changed all the icons on the PlayStation menu to like flat design equivalents.
yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, absolutely. So then it's very minimalist design. It's not a huge change, but it is a change. I like it. I think it's good because I think the old one was looking a bit dated. But Jack's got the picture there. And actually, their first logo, I love. They got this really like 1980s-esque one. It's like this pink thing. I love that. I'm a huge fan of that. But yeah, I think the change of symbol is probably hoping it changed things to come.
I just think them taking a year off to make another Assassin's Creed game is like the craziest thing they've ever
Yeah,
done.
I mean, it's a really good idea.
I kind of expected they'd keep doing an Assassin's Creed game every year until that franchise was ran into the dirt.
Well, I'm incredibly down for that.
I think that franchise took a bit of a hit when the film came up, honestly, because I don't really rate that film. I mean, I haven't seen it, and what I've heard about it is not that great, but I feel like they take the Animus way too far. But yeah, I think...
Yeah, taking a year off to distance yourself from that movie is probably wise, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Yeah, so that happened. Yeah, there's been some more news. This is related to the Uncharted film. Now, this film has been... Sony picked this film up about 10 years ago when the first one came out. It wasn't long after.
Yeah, Uncharted 1 was a launch game for the PlayStation, and that came out in 2007.
Exactly.
So they've been talking about an Uncharted film for easily 10 years.
A long time. And it's gone through so many different... They had a director, they had an actor, and it's just kept falling through. But now, they've decided to change that. They've now got Tom Holland, i.e. Spider-Man, on board, who's going to be playing Drake. However, it'll be a younger Drake.
Based on the flashback scenes from Uncharted 3, isn't it?
Yes.
Because there's the bit in Uncharted 3 where you play as Nathan Drake in South America and you go and steal the ring, don't you?
That's absolutely right. I think he'll be a bit older than that. Actually, no, pretty similar age to that.
It's probably
similar age to
because
that.
there's the flashback. Have you played Uncharted 4 yet?
So I've played the first hour. So I'm going to talk about that when we get to the game section. But yeah, I have, so I know what you mean. But... Indeed. No, but I think a younger Drake, I think Tom Holland is a great actor. I've only seen him in Civil War, but I thought he was awesome.
Yeah.
And he's
All the trailers
absolutely...
for that new Spider-Man look great. I'll probably see that.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like he brings a lot of his self and his personality and his charisma and character to
Definitely.
a role, and I feel like it's going to be perfect for him as well.
Yeah.
He was incredibly charming as Spider-Man in Civil War.
So I think he's a really good fit.
And I think, not to go too much into the film show, but
Sure.
With that new trailer, like you say, it's him. Basically, the start of that trailer that they released is just him with his camera out filming the people in the Civil War fighting, filming like Captain America and everyone fighting, and it's just like that's what a teenage Spider-Man would do. Be like, oh my god, these superheroes are fighting. Let's get out a phone and record it, and that's how the trailer starts, which I think bodes well for him and his acting career, and
Definitely.
especially the Uncharted. If they go on and make maybe 2 or 3 of these movies, it would really, really boost his career.
I think it's
as
a really
well.
good shout. And
I definitely think he has like the youth, but also like it's like the vague cockiness, but it's mostly just childlike wonder.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that will actually channel really well into Nathan Drake's
definitely,
character.
yeah. It's that kind of cheeky... but because Drake, although he's mischievous, he clearly has a lot of respect for the stuff he's looking for.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. And also, apparently, having worked on Infinity War with Chris Pratt, he has asked if Chris Pratt could be Sully. The younger Sully.
I could be into that.
I could go for that.
Oh, Sully's a great character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could go
Sully's
for that. I
right.
think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know if Chris Pratt could rock the moustache.
I think he could. He'd just have to put on a gravelly voice.
Because Sully is basically just a moustache with legs and a glass of scotch.
Yeah. Yeah, he is actually. That's literally what he is.
So, like, whoever you get to be Sully needs to have a wicked moustache.
I
Almost as a
agree.
rule.
Mark, you had some news, didn't you?
Yeah, I've got a few quick pieces to run
And
through.
then we'll go to start of that, and we'll come back and talk about some games.
Remember they're doing that Final Fantasy VII remake?
Yep.
Yeah, so apparently, I didn't realise this, it was being made not in-house by Square Enix, and they've recently moved it so it's being made in-house by Square Enix, which is crazy, because I kind of assumed Square Enix would be all over that.
Yeah.
And then it turns out they're totally not, but now they are.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, now they're on it, that's fine. But the fact that they've branched out, I don't know about that. Sounds like a kind of a side project, but...
Considering it's going to be the best-selling game they make, probably ever, because people are so insanely in love with Final Fantasy VII.
Yep.
Then they're going to do an HD remake of it. Apparently, like, it's going to be, 4 episodes, and each episode's going to be as long as Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, wow.
So, like, they're basically going to increase the size and scope of that game fourfold.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Is Final Fantasy VII, is it a 2D game?
No, it's the first 3D one they made. It was
Right.
the first one on the PlayStation 1.
Okay.
It's all about Cloud Strife, I think his name is.
Well, I know my flatmates absolutely love Final Fantasy, so they're very excited, but, yeah, that'll be a huge hit.
But yeah, it's
Seems odd, seems odd.
I thought it was completely insane that they weren't making it themselves. But I mean, now they are, because apparently the quality wasn't there. But you know,
Yeah.
what else is happening? Oh yeah, more Square Enix news. Hitman. So they announced a couple of weeks ago that they were selling off IO Interactive.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, and so they've come out saying, "Don't worry, guys, we're trying to sell IO with Hitman to people who want to make more Hitman, so there'll be more Hitman."
Oh, that's reassuring.
So like, it sucks that they're being sold, and there's going to be like IO have had to let like a bunch of people go, they've had to resize and some other sad stuff like that. But at least someone involved in that process wants to keep making more Hitman, which is awesome because that Hitman game was great.
Yeah, you loved it, didn't you?
It was really good, especially after Absolution, which I did not like at all. That Hitman game was awesome, and at this point too, now they've got that infrastructure there, and they know how to do it, and they've got the engine and everything else. It should just be a license to print money. It should just be like, yeah, once a year we do a 6-month period where we put out 6 maps, like they did last year. Like every couple of years, they put out another 6 maps and make money hand over fist.
Well, I was surprised they just did season 2 or whatever, you know.
Yeah, they'd be so. They were speaking a lot about season 2 just near the end of season 1, but obviously this whole shake-up is no bueno.
Fair enough. Well, lots more Hitman's come.
But it's nice that Square Enix at least is saying, yeah, we're selling them, but we want there to be more Hitman, so we're going to try and sell them with Hitman to somebody who wants to make more Hitman.
Good. Well, that's promising for the franchise, isn't it?
Yeah, because there were a lot of people who were worried that they'd sell off IO, keep the Hitman license, but then not make any Hitman games, and Hitman would just be dead. And then you'd get IO making Stealth Dude, I don't know.
Yeah,
Something that's like functionally identical, but I don't know, it's Agent 48 instead of 47 or something.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think that's quite a good roundup of the news that we've had, unless you have any more particulars.
I've got a few little things, but it's just like release dates and rumours and stuff. That new game, Pyre, the third game from Supergiant Games, the guys who made Bastion and Transistor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Pyre's coming out on the 25th of July, I believe.
Oh, wow, that was quick.
Yeah, and Pyre is... it's their crazy sports road trip RPG or something. Like, you play as one of 5 people on the entire planet who can read, and then you're also great at, like, future basketball.
Sound.
And then you go around
Sounds
getting
cool.
in fights and playing future basketball or something crazy. I don't know, it looks cool. Bastion was cool. I never played Transistor, but Bastion's pretty rad. So,
All right, cool.
yeah, that's all I've got.
All right, fair enough. Well, yeah, there is the news, and then we'll go to a song, which Jack's going to queue up, and then we'll come back and talk about some games we've been playing. We're back, and that was a cracking compilation of some songs. Really like the Zelda ident, by the way.
There, that ident's great.
That was pretty cool.
That's not in Breath of the Wild.
Is it not?
How dare they?
No, they have like a minimalist version that's like a few notes on a piano that kind of evokes the same response, but it's not the full-on that thing from Ocarina of Time
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
insane fanfare for like even if it's a chest with 1 rupee in it.
Yeah, exactly. Still exciting. Right, now we're going to talk about some games that we've been playing recently. And Mark recently got his hands on Overwatch.
I did. Overwatch is pretty good, guys. I don't know if you heard. A year later, Mark's wading into the critical discussion of Overwatch. It's pretty good. I'm really enjoying it. I haven't played a huge amount of it, but I've got in. I did the training again, and then I've just been playing a bunch of pub games like quick play, and yeah, it's awesome. Super fun.
There were like 4 main character categories, isn't there?
Yeah.
Offense, defense, tank, support.
That's it.
I'm not quite sure what the difference between defense and tank is, but
I feel like tank is just more damage, isn't it? And then like building up.
Tank is more like in Overwatch. The tank is just like obviously the anchor of the team, the bullet sponge, and the defense have like these specialist skills. Like Hanzo has his sonar arrow, or Mei has a ice wall.
yeah, defense is like tank is loads of health, but then defense is they have abilities that make the team better, isn't it?
Defense can be called like tactical, I think.
Yeah,
they have these kind of special abilities. Yeah, so Mark, you've been playing Overwatch, and you've been playing a lot of Lucio, haven't you?
So I've been like jumping in, trying to play when I can, and I don't. Obviously, Overwatch does something super smart for a team-based game, which like I've played around in Dota a little bit, and Dota doesn't do it, and like TF2 never used to do it, and it says you pick your team and you pick your 6 people or something, or you, like maybe 4, like there are 6 people in the group and 4 people pick their characters, and it will come up saying, oh, you don't have a healer. Oh, no, you need a tank. You don't have a strong offensive character. You're not doing enough damage, stuff like that. So it sort of gently guides you toward team composition.
Yeah.
Which is nice, because team comp is kind of important. Turns out in a 6v6 game, which is super character-based, team composition really important. The problem with that is that I'll get into a game, and I'm still playing at quite a low level, and all these dudes jump in, like other level 5 players or whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be like the big offensive dude. Like they want to be
Soldier or whatever.
Yeah, they want to be Reaper or McCree or Hanzo or Genji. They want to be somebody you can just go in and like be super cool and do other stuff. And nobody wants to be like a nice tank or a support or something. So I've been getting in there, and because I don't want to lose, because I want to get all that sweet XP, I've been playing support. And I've been playing a lot of Lucio, he's a pretty soft support. Like, it's not full on Mercy style. You need to be doing like managing heals and stuff. It's mostly just go and shoot dudes, and if anybody's next to you, they get healed, which is quite nice. But it would be nice to not play support at some point. But I don't want to lose, and I don't want to keep getting into games and be like, well, I'm just going to play whatever character I want, and then it says your team could really do with some support and some tank. I was like, well,
yeah, definitely.
Someone else should change character, right?
I think those are the 2 things I've learned. That when the higher level you get, because I'm 50 now, which is not you. That was like halfway through the first prestige, if you like, whatever it's called. And as you get high level, people stop doing that. You get more people playing support, you get more tanks. I myself, I'm either a tank or a support. I occasionally play offense, but I'm mostly support, and then probably tank after that. And so as you go up, that becomes less of an issue. Also, the other thing I've realised is that as you go up, you start to realise that it's okay to switch characters halfway through the game. That's absolutely fine, and if anything, it's encouraged.
Yeah. If you die, you just like hold X or square or whatever it is to change character.
And like, although it seems weird, it feels weird to do that. It's actually fundamental, and that's actually Jeff Kaplan said, the director of Overwatch. He said that is very much what they encourage. So you change character based on where the game is going, and there have been a number of times where I've been playing support, and we're trying to get this we're trying to secure an area, and it's like 30 seconds to go, and I've changed to Winston as a tank and just cleared out the platform, and then we've won. All that, that kind of thing. Like the idea
team comp is crucial in that game. Like, making sure you got the right balance is nuts. I mean, I've loved the games I've played as Lucio. He's so much fun, and you get to give everyone a speed boost to the objective, and then when you're at the objective, you heal everyone around you, and you can give people shields, but then you can also blast people, and it is fun. I don't even know if I want to not play Lucio. I would like to have an...
It's nice to have that.
There are, 24 characters?
Yes.
I've played about 4. And so it would be nice in this early stage to be able to try lots of characters, but I keep feeling like I got to play support because I get into a game and the 5 other people on my team all pick like offensive roles. I was like, I don't want to lose.
One of the things they started doing is when you initially got the game, people could play as the same character.
Yeah.
So they've now got rid of that. You can't do that anymore.
I remember seeing some really insane, like 3 tracers and 3 roadhogs. It's just like absolutely demolishing teams, like getting the win in like 2 minutes or something on like objective ones. It's absolutely crazy.
There was one they had like 4 Reinhardts and they're on the payload and they formed like a square and they actually like couldn't do anything. They couldn't actually attack the Reinhardts because they were in such a formation that you couldn't actually get access to them. But they've stopped doing that, so you now everyone has to play a different character.
That was a problem with May as well, wasn't it? Because like if you had, you could do. I've seen YouTube videos of people doing 6 Mays, going straight to the other opponent's spawn and just icing them in.
I think that would
Just like having them iced for the entire game, so they can't do anything. Because with 6 Mays, you can just keep putting ice walls.
Yeah, I think what games like that tend to do is it tends to gear you towards not... Okay, so you have like a main guy who you'll be 9 times out of 10, but when you can't be that character and when someone else picks it ahead of you, it does sort of gear you towards being, you know, quite skilled at various other characters. Like you say, you know, you might be going in as trying to be your attacking player, but then it says, oh yeah, you need a support, and you'll be like, well, I've played this guy a bit, let me go and try him out, and you might actually start, you know, buffing his stats up a bit more, and yeah, it seems like it's a very sort of an intuitive way to get more people playing more variety of characters.
Yeah, definitely. And also, that's the thing about the game. A year on, there'll be times when I'm getting bored of it, but then you just change character, you play a character you've never played before, and then the game is just completely turned on its head. Suddenly you've got this entirely new way of playing.
Yeah, they're
it
so
gives
different.
So much more, which is what's great about it.
It's amazing that... I mean, it's a first-person shooter. No matter which way you cut it, it's a first-person shooter, but they've made all 24 characters, or at least the 4 or 5 I've played, feel unique and different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And require like totally different playstyles. Even if you pick offensive characters, like they all still are different enough that it requires...
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can have 2 characters from the defense class, but they could not play more differently. You know, Hanzo fires arrows, Junkrat uses C4, and you know, a noob tube. Like
Junkrat's crazy.
So I think that's incredibly clever. So that, I think it's a great game.
Yeah, it's a super, super fun game. I foresee playing a lot of it in my future.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now that I'm all done with exams.
Indeed. Jack, what have you been playing?
More Gwent, mate. I've so that got released 2 weeks ago now. I think just over a week ago. Yeah, I've just been playing that. Finally got to level 10, which means that you can enter ranked. And so they have something called MMR, which is your matchmaking rating. And so every time you win, you get, depending on what opponent you play. So if your opponent's like miles ahead of you, then you'll get higher. You'll get higher MMR points from beating them. But in casual, they have an MMR, but it's just not showed. So depending on how well you're doing in the casual, when you reach level 10, it will throw you in straight at that your sort of estimated rank at where they think that you should be fighting at. And I got in at like rank 5, and I think that they've upped it now since the closed beta. From the highest rank is gone from 15 to 21. And so yeah, I got in at 5. I think I'm on like rank 8 now, just grinding away at the bottom, playing a bunch of Nilfgaard. I found a really efficient Nilfgaard deck that I've made, and it's basically you can get down to playing almost all of your cards in one game, which is quite rare. I mean,
that's insane.
There's 25 cards minimum in a deck, and I run 25 just for maximum efficiency, but it works between combos of cards. So there's a spy that you can play, which only gives your opponent 2 points. You draw 2 bronze cards, and then one of those cards you can then reactivate the spy's ability and draw another card. And there's Ciri Dash has got a gold card, so every time you play Ciri Dash, when she goes to the graveyard, she goes back into your deck. So as you get to the later rounds, you're almost always going to be pulling out Ciri Dash, and whenever she does go back into your deck, she gains 3 base strength. So she's getting bigger, and you're always pulling her out, and it's fantastic.
So how is Gwent as a full video game release? Does it still have those weird quirks like Gwent in The Witcher 3 had, where if you have the right deck against the right deck, and both of you have a bunch of spies and decoys and medics and stuff, you end up both getting up to like 200 scores and playing like all your cards in one turn, and everything just goes completely mad?
No, not at all. I mean, you can...
That's probably for the best. It wasn't really the most balanced game, was it?
So I think what they looked at in the original Gwent as well, Nilfgaard, there were spies, and essentially the spies in The Witcher 3 Gwent just gave you card advantage. They let you draw 2 cards, and you give up a round, but essentially you're not too worried about giving up like the first round or second round, because you're just going to have more cards on your opponent, and
especially
more cards.
When you had that heroic spy, the mysterious elf, and didn't give them any points for drawing 2, and he was
Good
he
call.
was OP as hell.
Yeah, so they've sort of toned it down. Spies now do different effects as well. There are like spies were always in the game, but they've not really been the card advantage. I'll give you this. I'll give you this like 8-point person, but then I'll get 2 cards off of you. It's very much so they have a spy which is you can play it on the opponent's side of the field, which is a free strength, and there are so many ways of getting rid of it. And when you do get rid of it, you buff up all of your units on your side by free strength. So there are other spies in the game. There's one which is a gold card for monsters called Succubus, which is you put it over on your opponent's side of the field on any of their rows, and after 2 turns, the highest unit on that row comes to your side. So they have made a lot of spies, and there are a lot of people who are playing around with variation of spies and stuff as well. And I think,
I need to sign up for an account and play some Gwent, I think.
Yeah, I think I've been playing it way too much, considering I've still got 1 exam left. So.
You only had 2 exams though, and they were as far apart as they could be. So I think you can be forgiven for playing some Gwent.
But yeah, that's literally all I've been doing. I tried to play a bit of Sims 4. Yesterday I tried to start making 137, but
Sims 4.
I got I got up to a point where I just had no more funds to try and make our house. Because I need to try and find out a way of getting more funds apparently. But
I started a game of Civilization 5, and whenever I play Civ, I always play on the Earth map.
Yeah,
and it spawned me in Alaska, which means you have like a tiny area that you can't farm, and the only ways out of it, you have to either cross an ocean or a mountain range.
I think Alaska,
which just it stunts your growth as a civilization for like 150 turns. It's
Alaska
awful.
would be good if you started off with Russia, because I think Russia get like quite a bit of bonus from like settling on tundra and stuff.
Yeah, I'd believe that. I started as the UK.
Yeah.
Which means I do get a pretty good navy.
Oh yeah.
So when I reached the right level of civilization, I could then get away from Alaska and do a real good job colonizing the rest of it. But for like 100 turns, it was just me and like 2 cities on this tiny waste of land.
What do you think of the religious aspect that they added into it, so you can go around now spreading your religion and stuff? Have you done much of that?
I'm so bad at victories in Civ that aren't war.
Yeah, this is it. Same as I normally go for science or domination, and I just can't do religious or culture.
Yeah, like I think I played way too much Command and Conqueror before coming to Civilization that now I don't know how to play that game if I'm not just like building civilization, then an army, and then killing everybody. But yeah, I mean, the religious stuff seems reasonable.
Yeah, I think if you one of the leaders, if you want to go for like a direct just domination victory, I think it's Scythia. One of her like sort of passive abilities is every time you build one of their like faction specific war chariots, you just get a free one given to you. So at the start of the game, if you just start churning them out, you just get loads and loads of those, and you can just go to hell on everyone that settles near you, really. But yeah,
Civ is a lot of fun, but I mostly just do it because it's fun to build dudes and go and shoot other dudes.
I don't really like Beyond Earth that much. I've played a bit of it, but it didn't really catch on. I didn't get the whole thing of there being poison gas. I mean, obviously it's going out in space, there's going to be poison gases in space and stuff. I just didn't really like it.
A fair bit of Alpha Centauri, which is the one they made many years ago that Beyond Earth is kind of a spiritual successor to. And that's pretty good, but it also like stinks of late 90s PC complexity. But yeah, I don't know. Beyond Earth seems too much just like a skin for Civ.
Yeah, it wasn't well received. Game I've been playing. What have you played?
Yeah, what have you been playing?
The other day I sat down to play Uncharted 4.
Yep.
Because my family hadn't lent it to me, so I played the first hour, and I've only played an hour. But
what happened in the first hour of that game?
So you start off, you're on a ship with your brother.
Yes.
Then you are breaking out
the best looking rainstorm I've ever seen in a video game, by the way.
And then you're breaking.
Oh my god!
And then you're breaking out of a convent with your brother again, but you're like a kid at this point.
Yeah, there's a flashback, isn't there?
I've only played like the first couple of chapters. However, like when you play it, I struggled to find another video game that's that polished, apart from Overwatch, maybe. But like, it's just
nuts.
so incredibly well designed. You know, when you're walking, even when you're walking, I was having fun. I was like, the environment's incredible. Its voice acting is brilliant. It's just such a stunning art direction.
So I played it through for the first time in January, because I got it for Christmas, and it is wicked. It's a really great game. However, there are parts of it where you go, okay, this is functionally the same game as Uncharted 1. Like, there were just enough bits in it where I was like, this is incredible, this is the best one of these they've ever made. They cannot make any more Uncharted games. Like, they are...
Who you say?
I think, especially after The Last of Us, where they showed that they could do the incredible graphics and storytelling and polish and like make this beautiful crafted tale in something that's like mechanically diverse and rich and interesting, and like you won't have gotten to it yet in Uncharted, but there's a big new mechanic in Uncharted 4 are these slopes that you can slide down.
Yes.
Like gravel slopes and like dirt slopes, and you can leap off them to do other things, and you can shoot while you're going down them and stuff. There must be 20, 30 of them in the game. Like every time it's like, we need a good set piece. Okay, let's have the player slide down this slope while shooting something for a bit. Like, yeah, my enjoyment of that game, I really enjoyed it, but there was a point where very early on I said whatever, and I put on lock-on targeting.
Really?
Yeah, and I was playing on normal, but like, lock-on targeting, so you don't have to aim ever, and you just feel like such a badass. Because the game isn't mechanically that diverse, and the shooting's never been great in those games, so when you can just lock on and smoke people while swinging through the air with a grappling hook and leaping off stuff and diving around... Oh, it was awesome.
Was auto locking, was that in the previous games?
Yeah, I think so, but it's always been something you have to go and like turn on. You have to go into options and go and actually select lock-on targeting, and I never did it in the other ones, but this one, after a couple of hours, I couldn't hack it. I think it's a wicked game. I love it. I cannot adequately state how wicked I think that game is. However, it is an Uncharted game.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't know, I think...
Weird for me.
Yeah, it is an Uncharted game, but in the same way that the Transformers films, people love them.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'd absolutely love playing it. I think you're going to enjoy it too, because you're a big Uncharted fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I love Uncharted.
Yeah.
And I'm not a third-person shooter fan, and yet I love Uncharted.
Because they're like the best-looking games.
They are
and
stunning.
They're these excellent, like 12 to 15-hour cinematic experiences, aren't they?
They literally. So I'm really excited to go and play that when I get home properly. But what I've seen in it, stunning direction. Neil Druckmann, having done Last of Us, clearly, guys, very talented. So yeah, really good.
Yeah, there are a lot of bits in it where you go, they've learnt from Uncharted, from Last of Us here. Like there are definitely moments where you're like, this shows levels of that Last of Us level, like polish.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are games we've been playing. We are running out of time, actually. We've only got about 15 minutes left. So we're going to go to another song. Jack's queued up for us. Then we're going to do some E3 hype and do all the games we've got time. We're back, and now we're going to talk a little bit about E3, just because we're going to talk about this a lot in the coming weeks. So we're just going to touch on it briefly.
Next week's going to be a pretty solid show, isn't it?
Indeed.
Will we be in E3 next week? Is that Saturday when the first press conferences are?
I'm not sure. I think it's the following Monday, maybe.
No, it's not.
Because the press conferences are the weekend, aren't they? The press conferences are before the show proper.
I think it's the 11th, which is the Sunday. We'll be just for it.
It'll be like that Bethesda things on the Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it won't be Microsoft and Sony.
So we should have something to talk about. But I've just got a quick list that I've made of some of the more significant games that are either rumoured or confirmed. So obviously the new COD, World War II, that will definitely be there.
Yeah, I mean, what can they show? Maybe a bit more of maybe someone playing through like the opening level of the campaign.
Yeah, it's a COD game.
It might show a bit more on like in terms of like that whole lobby setting they had set up for the multiplayer. That might be a thing. But
they have for the last couple of years. Someone at a press conference has got like a 15-minute chunk of Call of Duty gameplay. It's been some level from the first third of the game.
Yeah.
Like they had the one for Advanced Warfare was the bit near the beginning where you're in Korea and your arm gets caught in that thing and you end up getting blown up. And then they had a Call of Duty Infinite Warfare mission, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Which was awesome
as well. Yeah, which was
very cool,
crazy awesome.
So I imagine it'll be something like that. Also, Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, we've heard about that since the Switch release.
Yeah, and that, I mean, I almost guarantee that's going to come out before the end of this year. And if it doesn't, I think that's a huge issue.
I think I might be wrong here, but I believe Nintendo have said this year their presence at E3 will be much like last year where they only had Zelda. Except for this year, it's only going to be Mario.
You think so?
I think they've said that. I might have
Okay.
completely fabricated that, but I know they've done.
Well, you know,
I know they're going to do a direct, and that will have all their announcements and stuff in it.
Yeah.
But I think their actual like show floor presence, as my understanding is, it's just going to be Super Mario. Mario's awesome.
Yeah.
I really don't understand why they insist on not doing conferences, because they generate so much hype. Nintendo.
Ah, but it's Nintendo. Their directs generate just as much hype. Especially when they have like a time slotted direct that gets broadcast live at the exact same time as a press conference, but for less money.
Yeah, no, maybe. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know, like the press conferences are awesome, but also they are a bit bloated.
I love them. I love them. I'm fully on board. I just think they're great.
Oh, no, I think they're great.
I'm
I love
shiny.
tuning in to watch them. However, I can also see if you're a company like Nintendo going, why don't we just do direct and we can just do it all ourselves in-house and just send out something on YouTube live and it'll be fine.
Yeah, fair enough. Another game I've got on here, hopefully. Cyberpunk 2017. 2077.
That's the release date, by the way. You know that. You know, it's the game's called Cyberpunk and it's coming out.
Don't even say that, Mark. You guys don't think it'll come. I think they'll show something. I think they'll show
I
something.
don't see it. I just don't believe there's a chance of it even being
I
there.
think at the very least, what they'll do is probably show you like a minute clip of it.
That's fine.
If they've got anything there, then they will. I don't think
Who
you'll
gets
see
that?
it.
Microsoft
Again,
had
I'm not
Witcher
sure.
3,
Well,
didn't
that's a
they?
good point, actually. Who does get that?
Microsoft had Witcher 3.
Yeah. So
Both times it was E3, I think. I think they had it on their stage presentation.
I think they'll show something.
Twice.
I think they will. Because they're on such momentum right now. CD Projekt Red.
They're too deep into Gwent, man. They're too deep into Gwent. They've said it's not going to be out till like what 2019 at the earliest. Like, I just don't see it happening.
Even cinematic they might show. Yeah.
Yeah, like to be fair, I would be absolutely like ball-tinglingly hyped if they showed some of that game. If it's just The Witcher 3 but Cyberpunk, I'm on board 100%.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to be there.
Okay, fair enough. We shall see. No, but fair enough. Battlefront 2.
yeah, we'll probably see some of that at EA's conference.
That'll have a huge showing, I think.
Yeah.
That'll be their big. I reckon that would be their big thing.
Yeah, they haven't got anything else going on this year. have they?
Yeah,
Not really.
this is it. Apart from their standard just once a year games like FIFA, the NHL, and whatever they've got going
Can
on
they
as
get
well.
Pele up on stage again? For like the most
I
boring
hope
interview
not.
ever conducted at E3.
I hope not. I think that they put way
It was
too
so
much hype
dull.
on
I think I
on
went and
FIFA
like
so much.
made a sandwich and went to the loo when he came on
Yeah.
stage. He was so lame.
Another game.
He's a great footballer, but
I don't think this will be shown, but yeah, it might be. But I'm pretty sure it won't be. Borderlands 3.
I don't think it will. I think there's a lot of reports. You know, obviously they had the technical test where they showed off. What was it, March time or something when they released that technical test and they showed off that this is what we're doing in the Unreal 4 engine. This is all of the styles that we're doing. I feel like that showed us that it's potentially very much still at the very early stages of working. I feel like maybe next E3 we might see something about it.
Yeah.
But then again. We'll see something about it. Whether or not that means it's going to be released in 2018 is another thing. I think maybe early 2019 we could expect to see that. Maybe summer
I think that's
in
fair.
2019
Yeah, I think that's
might
fair.
come out. But yeah, I mean, I'm hyped for it as much as you are. And yeah, it should be a fantastic game. And the guys at
Gearbox.
the guys at Gearbox will do a fantastic job as well.
they really need something as well
Yeah.
because they have not had the best output for the last few years.
No, they haven't. Battleborn was a complete travesty. I think it's fair
And
to
then
say.
they got out Aliens, didn't they? Because
Oh, they did, didn't they?
they didn't do the pre-sequel, did they? Wasn't it like 2K Marin or something did the pre-sequel?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
So
like
they've-
2K
in the
Australia. Yeah.
Yeah, in the last few years, they've done a bunch of Borderlands 2 DLC. They put out Aliens Colonial Marines, which is not a good video game. And they put out Battleborn, which is not a good
No,
video game.
can confirm it's not that great.
No.
Fair enough. God of War.
Yes, that looks
Guaranteed we'll see that.
rad.
Guaranteed we'll see that.
We'll get a release date this year as well, won't we?
Do you come out this year?
I don't know if it'll come out this year, but we'll get a release date.
Sure.
They showed it off last year. It'll be this year. We get a proper trailer, not just Kratos with a beard hanging out. We'll get some cool crafted cinematic trailer, and it will finish saying like March 2019 or
I think March
Octo-
2018 is probably.
Yeah, or whatever. Whenever it is, I reckon we'll get the release date this
Historically, I think God of War come out in March. I think. I'm not sure of that, but I think.
year. Seems like kind of a March game,
So I feel like that.
whatever that means.
Bethesda are having Bethesda Land, as per.
Yep.
What do you reckon? Elder Scrolls 6?
No, absolutely not.
Do you not think so?
Absolutely not. They just brought out Morrowind.
Yeah, is that
Yeah, I
ESO
guess.
DLC just dropped?
They've got Quake coming out.
That new Quake is pretty good, by the way.
It's just done for like 4.
There'll be that new Wolfenstein game, I reckon.
Yeah, I
because
think
they teased that last year, didn't they?
That's a really good shout. People have been saying that is very likely.
The Colossus, the new Colossus, the old Colossus. What's it? They teased it last year because their press conference started with that fake boot up screen, and in that it mentioned a new Wolfenstein game called the Great Colossus or something like that, and so that'd be super cool. Wolfenstein: The New Order was awesome.
Still played it.
It's really good. I've got it on PlayStation. You can borrow it if you want. It's not very long, but it's wicked.
No, I need to get a crack. But I think Elder Scrolls 6 is very unlikely. I just can't see it. I don't know.
Is ESO doing okay for them at the moment? Elder Scrolls Online.
Well, they just released Morrowind, so I assume there's some demand for.
Yeah.
I think it's doing okay. But as I said, it'd be very cool if they did. But I just can't. If Todd Howard walks on stage, I might wee myself, but I don't think he will. We'll see.
Oh, they'll probably get him out on stage anyway, won't they? Like to show him off. He's quite personable.
He's very good. He's very, very good at speaking.
So that CCG that they were pimping last year ever come out? The Skyrim Elder Scrolls card game.
That's out.
Is that out?
Yeah, that's out. Actually, I've seen today. My friend Harry, he's been playing it.
Does anybody play that? Any good?
Well, apparently it's good. Apparently it's quite like Gwent. It's just vertical, not horizontal.
Yeah.
Weird.
Very weird. But yeah, we'll see if that. But I don't think they will show at all. But
no, I can't imagine id will have too much to show off. I think they'll show off that new Quake, won't they?
Yeah, exactly.
They'll probably give out a release date for that, I imagine, because that's got to be soon.
Do you guys think that, going away from the Bethesda, do you guys think, coming back to Microsoft, do you think that they might have something there about the Scorpio? Do you feel that they might have more
100%.
extensive stuff?
It's supposed
about
to be
it?
coming out this year, isn't it? Like, they have to.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's a really good point, actually. That could be their hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hardware's always exciting, especially hardware that, like, it's going to be the most powerful video game console ever made. So there's going to be a point where they go, this is how a video game looks on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And then go, oh wait, did we mean the Xbox One? We meant the Xbox Scorpio.
Yeah,
and
it's going to be something cheesy.
And then they show you what it looks like in the Xbox One, and it's just like a picture of some dirt. Just to demonstrate how powerful it is.
Yeah, exactly. 2 games I would like to see, what I really should show, is Spider-Man and Days Gone. These are 2 Sony exclusives.
Are they making a Spider-Man game? Another one?
Yeah. Another one?
Oh, they make loads of Spider-Man games.
Yeah. But no, this is made by Insomniac. This is going to be a PlayStation
Made by
exclusive.
Insomniac?
Yeah.
Oh, man,
Have you not
I'm
seen
on
the
board.
footage for it?
No, I haven't. This is completely new to me.
This is one of the big announcements last year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so there's a bit of footage. It looks very cool.
I got a lot of love for
And
Insomniac.
Days Gone was pretty cool as well.
Days Gone was the zombie game where the zombies flowed like water, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And my final question before we head out. Do you reckon VR is going to have a big showing E3 this year?
No.
I don't know.
If it doesn't, that worries me.
I feel like there's
VR's
going to
died
be
of death.
There's still, I think, a lot of work to be done in terms of adapting games to be compatible with VR. So I don't think we're quite at that stage where we can have someone's, or like maybe a PlayStation's unique selling point being, oh yeah, we've got all of these games now that you can play in VR. I don't know if
Oh yeah,
I
PlayStation will be pimping the PSVR, aren't they?
yeah, this is it. I don't know if Microsoft are going to maybe go down that route. I don't know if they've got something in the pipeline in
Well,
terms of their
Hologlass, whatever it's
VR.
called.
The HoloLens, didn't they?
That's it.
But I don't know what happened with those.
Yeah, exactly. This is it. So I'm not sure about VR. I think certainly in the years to come, and I think over the next few years, it should definitely be getting more and more underway. And like I say, especially with the PSVR, they now have their own system, which is, arguably one of the best and cheapest systems for its, or one of the best systems for its price. And I feel like they can do a lot more work with it as well in a few years to come.
Yeah, definitely. I would be interested to see. I think this the E3 will look back and be like, okay, VR died. I don't know. I feel like it's not.
I follow a few sites that do roundups of VR games, and they were coming thick and fast for like 6 months. And at this point, there's maybe one roundup with about 3 games on it every couple of months now.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems like all anyone could make were like shooting galleries. And everyone quickly got bored of shooting galleries, and VR's just... It's a shame too, because my understanding is Resident Evil 7 in VR is really, really good.
Yeah, apparently it's really cool. But we'll see. No, I think E3 is going to be cool. I think...
I'm very excited. Devolver have a press conference, don't they? Devolver Digital. They're going to have like an indie press conference.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like because they're the guys who do Hotline Miami and
okay.
a bunch of other stuff.
Sure.
I say they do. They are the publisher for all the weird little indie studios that do things like Hotline Miami. I think they're having their own press conference this year, is my understanding, which would be fun.
I mean, I've got a list just before we wrap up. I've got a list of the press conferences. So EA are at 12 p.m. per Pacific PDT time, Saturday, June 10th. Microsoft are at 2 p.m. PDT, Sunday, June 11th. Ubisoft are 1 p.m. PDT, Monday, June 12th. Sony are 6 p.m. PDT, Monday, June 12th. And then Nintendo are 9 a.m. PDT, Tuesday, June the 13th.
It's going to be a lot coming our way. Yeah.
It'll be fun. There's hardware this year. There's a bunch of cool video games. And as much as I know it's the lamest possible answer, I'm also excited for all the stuff that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And
all of the new IPs should, really try and spice things up as well.
There was some cool stuff that was announced last year. If they can announce some more cool stuff this year, I'm totally on board with that.
Definitely.
We get another probably minute of Death Stranding, I reckon, as well, which would be fun.
Yeah, I'm sure Hideo will come up and sort of
Another
do something. Yeah.
bi-yearly cryptic drip feed of Death Stranding stuff. Patrick's going to be in this one. Some new film star, a whole extra do.
I reckon it'll be Norman Reedus having his kidney removed.
Yeah, it's just like
That's what I reckon.
actual live action video of Samuel L. Jackson just reading the newspaper. And it's like, what? It's like, no, don't worry, it's got a meaning. And he just starts posting a bunch of profound stuff on Twitter.
We're going to have to wrap up now. The show has ended. Good show, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having us on, Henry. It's been wonderful.
In our penultimate show, I believe next week is our last show.
Is that right? Oh, we're going to have to do a
I believe
crack at
so.
that.
Yeah, I'll have to come and knock it out of the park. Dylan will be around for that one, I
He will,
believe.
yeah, he should be.
I'll try and be less viciously hungover today, but no guarantees.
Well, until then, keep checking the hype and, enjoy.